Now, I know I'm a little late to the party on Breath of the Wild 2 videos. I mean, the trailer came out over a year ago and we're still waiting for more news. Hopefully, Nintendo will release another Nintendo Direct this summer, even though E3 is cancelled. Regardless, I thought it would be cool to go over some things that I think would make sense or need to happen in the next game. I'll be going over some things from the trailer, as well as some of my personal theories or opinions on what I would like to see, and even delving into some potential storylines. This is all my personal opinion and speculation, so don't get mad at me in the comments. Alright, let's get in the video. Number 1. Items. Now I'm going to start off with a bit of a banger. In the trailer, we see Link's hand being taken over by the green hand that was stealing Ganondorf underground. Now, if we take a look at the making of Breath of the Wild by Nintendo, we can see a couple of unused designs for Link that show him using a fake arm to launch bombs, arrows, and even a beetle. What if Nintendo combined those two things and used Link's new green hand to act as the game's Sheikah Slate? I would really enjoy that, however, I would not want to use the same runes as before. It would be cool to get some entirely new runes. I would really enjoy seeing some of the older items make a return, such as the hookshot or my personal favorite item, the beetle, which is actually displayed on the image on the front. However, where would he get these runes? Well, that's what I'll show in my next point. Number 2. Dungeons. In my opinion, returning to more traditional Zelda dungeons would be a great solution to this. Now, this is really speculative, and I have no idea if this will be remotely accurate, but I think it would be a great idea to keep the open world filled, and even make it possible to head to the final boss straight away. But for casual players, having the dungeon items be required to both beat the dungeons as well as accessing potential heart containers or shrine replacements. For example, in the first game, if you would have obtained Cryonis from Varuta and used it to beat all the puzzles there rather than obtaining it immediately in the opening of the game, I would have enjoyed that a lot more. Because after that, you could have used Cryonis to access certain parts of Hebra that were previously unreachable, allowing you to reach more shrines to get more heart containers. That way, 100%ing the game would require a little bit more linear work, but still maintain the open world exploration that made the first game so great. Number 3. Bosses. I think it would be a cool idea to have something similar to Breath of the Wild's bosses, albeit more creative, making it so that when you defeat them, instead of having them simply explode and die, their essence could leave and go to the other bosses, making them more difficult, so that each progressive boss gets harder, bringing a proper difficulty curve to a game that, other than the fact that Bokoblin camps are getting higher tier colors, doesn't really change. On a quick side note, Proton just came out with a video explaining the leveling up system in Breath of the Wild, and why the Bokoblin camps start getting higher leveled as you progress through the game. I would highly recommend it, as well as the rest of his stats videos. Number 4. Exploration. I would love to see some more underwater exploration. Legend of Zelda has never dived too deep in this subject. Get it? Dived? Water puns? You know what, never mind. Anyways, probably the closest we've had to it is the Water Dragon scale in Skyward Sword, being used for Lake Floria and some other minor parts of Skyward Sword. I would love to be able to explore the open ocean, but being able to see it from beneath as well would be amazing. It could lead to some cool puzzles at the bottom of Lake Hylia, for example. I would also like to see some exploration outside the world of Hyrule. I think it would be amazing to see some other places, such as beyond the Hebra Mountains, or even farther south in the Gerudo Desert, or even potentially across the sea. There's so many possibilities to where Link and Zelda could explore. Speaking of Zelda, a lot of people think it would be really cool if you could play as her, and while I agree it's cool in concept, I feel it would really be difficult to pull off without the mechanics being really slow and clunky. Another thing I would like to bring up on this point is the fact that climbing in the rain is straight up impossible. Nintendo really needs to fix this. Whether they do it by adding a new piece of clothing or eating a certain enhancing food, I don't really care. It just needs to be less infuriating. Also, I didn't know where else to put this, but I feel that the heart system in Breath of the Wild is really messed up. If you're prepared and scavenge enough materials, then you can get hit as many times as you want and be fine. Allowing you to store your inventory with 3 entire pages of food means that you can simply eat your way out of all your problems. I've been playing through Ocarina of Time 3D recently. One thing I've noticed is that in most of the dungeons, there's really no way to obtain hearts. This leads to conserving your hearts and not getting hit being a much bigger deal, and forces you to play much more strategically, rather than just rushing in to beat the bosses. Number 5. Side quests. Side quests are a really enjoyable part of any Zelda game, and are more prominent in Breath of the Wild than any other. Breath of the Wild 2 has the same sense of exploration as the first, and it's likely it will have more side quests telling us to explore regions that we would otherwise have no real reason to visit. I have a couple of suggestions for this. First of all, I would love a side quest to go more in depth on the Yiga, perhaps even a series of side quests. The Yiga are some of the most underdeveloped races from the game, only really having one real encounter in the hideout, other than the annoying battles that, to be honest, I just ran from because I didn't feel like fighting them. I would love to give them more purpose and maybe even give them another boss battle that would hopefully be more difficult than the first one. Another thing I would like to see are more memories to help us remember the champions better. You really only get to see them specifically in a couple memories and in the Champions Ballad memories. I would love to have more backstory and see more of the champions' relationships with Link. Number 6. Story. Completely switching topics onto my idea of a potential storyline for the game, I think that Link and Zelda are going to go back to a time before where Ganondorf was first sealed. That's why when we see the castle, there are no Sheikah towers or shrines to be seen. They have to put an end to Ganondorf before he can cause the first Great Calamity, so that the second one can never occur, therefore preventing the events of the second Great Calamity. This means that all the champions would still be alive, Castletown would never be destroyed, and we would even be able to explore Hyrule before it was put to ruin once we come back to the normal time, exploring a bustling, fully populated area that doesn't have any problems at all. I would love to see this, as we only get glimpses of what Hyrule was like before the destruction. Well, there you have it. That's my list of ideas for what to include in Breath of the Wild 2. Do you have any ideas that you'd like to see as well? Be sure to leave a comment below telling me your ideas. Sorry about the long delay between this video and the last one. I've been pretty busy and haven't really had the motivation to keep posting videos. I'm back though, and I've got a couple more good videos coming out soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, I've been Triforce Truths, and I'm out.